You can get free chicken for a year. This video is brought to you by ButcherBox. Get 2 pounds of free-range organic chicken breasts for free in every order when you sign up at butcherbox.com/SOS and use code SOS. That is butcherbox.com/SOS and use code SOS. We have reached NFL Week 3, and there are a lot of really interesting games this weekend. Game number 1 is this: Buffalo at Miami. Both teams are 2-0. I think it's a huge test for Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, where the Bills are a Super Bowl favorite. They're a high-powered offense. They're going to score a lot of points. And the question is, can Tua keep up with Josh Allen? Tua had 6 touchdowns last week. That gave me hope that, hey, this might actually be a good, interesting game. And this is by far the game I'm most interested in during NFL Week 3. Can Miami hang around with Buffalo, and can Tua keep up with Josh Allen? Game number 2 is this: the Raiders at Tennessee. Both teams are 0-2. The Raiders have a new coach. They're in a really tough division. 0-3 feels like season over for the Raiders in particular. I think Tennessee, there's some more weaker teams in their division. I think there's a possibility Tennessee could bounce back from 0-3, although I don't think that's good either. And really, this game, Raiders at Tennessee, is between two desperate franchises that really, really must win. They cannot afford to lose this game, and I think it's going to provide some really good and really fun drama between the Raiders and the Titans. Game number 3, the Lions at Minnesota. It's an NFC North division matchup, a huge game. Both teams are 1-1. Both teams are trying to prove themselves. Minnesota's got this new coach. So does Detroit, really. Dan Campbell's in year 2. They're both trying to change the culture. They're both trying to change the narrative about their football teams. Minnesota's coming off of a bad loss on Monday Night Football last week at Philly. I'm really not sure who to root for in this game because I'm rooting for both teams this year. I want to see Detroit do well. I want to see Minnesota do well. It's fun and interesting. And a fun matchup here and a fun storyline is that people are skeptical of both quarterbacks. People are skeptical that Jared Goff is the right guy in Detroit. A lot of people doubt Kirk Cousins. And this game's kind of like an experiment. The Lions at Minnesota. I just want to see what happens. I really have no idea. I don't have a favorite here. I don't have a team I'm rooting for. I want to see both do well if that's possible. And I have no idea who's going to win, and that's the best kind of game when you're really just not sure what's going to happen between two football teams. Game number 4, the Eagles at the Commanders. This is Carson Wentz, the former Philadelphia quarterback, then the former Indy quarterback, playing against his former team Philly and playing against the guy Jalen Hurts who replaced him. I think Philly's got a better team. They've got a scary good defense, but I'm really curious to see how Commander Carson does against his former team, Philadelphia. How about the Rams at Arizona? It's a big game. Both teams are 1-1. They're battling for their division, the NFC West. I'm really worried about Arizona's offensive line. Aaron Donald probably is going to take over and cause a lot of problems for Kyler Murray, the Cardinals quarterback. I think the Rams have an edge here. But can Kyler Murray save the day? They played each other in the playoffs last year. Kyler Murray wilted in that game. I want to see Kyler Murray get redemption against the Rams and play better than he did in the playoffs last year. There's another huge game, this time on Monday Night Football. It's the Cowboys at the Giants. The Giants are trying to start 2-0 for the first time in a long, long time, but I worry about the Giants' offensive line. The Giants' O-line is a work in progress. Dallas has got a good pass rush. They sacked Joe Burrow 6 times last week. Now, it's worth noting the Cowboys are starting a backup quarterback because their starting quarterback, Dak Prescott, is out and injured. But their backup quarterback, Cooper Rush, played really well last week. He led a game-winning drive. And Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, even said he wouldn't mind a quarterback controversy, which is insane, but whatever. Either way, it's a big game. Monday Night Football, an NFC East battle between the Cowboys and the Giants. Now, I've got 2 predictions this week. The Chiefs at the Colts. I believe Kansas City is going to absolutely obliterate Indy. The Colts have been terrible to start the year. Kansas City looks like a Super Bowl favorite. I think Kansas City blows Indianapolis and Matt Ryan out of the water. I think that's a mismatch. I think another mismatch is the Packers at Tampa. Tampa should win this game easily. The Packers are struggling at receiver. Tampa's got a really good secondary. That's a mismatch that just doesn't compute in my mind. Also, Tom Brady has, since he's gotten to Tampa, absolutely dominated Green Bay. So I believe Tampa wins easily here. My 2 predictions, I think that Chiefs destroy the Colts, and I think Tampa wins easily against Green Bay. Now, the Texans at the Bears. I think it's actually an interesting matchup. It's two second-year quarterbacks on mediocre teams, which mean that it's kind of a fun, fair fight between Justin Fields and Davis Mills. That's an interesting game. Houston at Chicago. Ravens at Patriots. Baltimore is coming off of a last-minute loss to Miami. Both teams have actually lost to Miami, which is kind of interesting here. I believe the Ravens are a better football team. Lamar Jackson will be the hero. And I fear that Mac Jones doesn't have enough weapons to keep up with a dynamic, incredible quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Although, hey, I always like watching Bill Belichick's defensive schemes, and we'll see. What is Bill Belichick's game plan to slow down and stop Lamar Jackson? Keep your eyes on that. How about the Bengals at the Jets? Are the Bengals really going to start the year 3-0? Like, they go to a Super Bowl last year, look incredible. They start the year this year, they look horrible. It's a huge opportunity for the Jets because the Bengals' offensive line has really, really struggled to protect Joe Burrow. I have all eyes on the Jets' defensive line. That's Carl Lawson, Solomon Thomas, Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers. Also, Joe Flacco is starting for the Jets, and the Bengals' defense has been horrible. So the Jets have a legitimate shot to win this game, and the Bengals might start the year 0-3, which is just a horrifying, horrifying thought if you're a fan of Cincinnati. Saints at Carolina. The Saints are a much better team. New Orleans should win this football game. Could Matt Rule, the Carolina Panthers head coach, get fired if Carolina starts 0-3? That's a legitimate question. I worry Baker's going to struggle in this game with no support against a much, much better defense that shut out Tom Brady in the first half last week. Jaguars at Chargers. This is a huge opportunity for Jacksonville to gain respect. If LA loses, people are going to be calling for the Chargers head coach Brandon Staley to get fired. So there's a lot of pressure on LA. I think the Jaguars got nothing to lose here. One other interesting wrinkle is that the Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert is injured. He's got a rib injury. He's not 100% recovered. And keep your eye on the Jaguars at LA. Falcons at Seattle. How is Geno Smith going to play this weekend for Seattle? Week 1 against Denver, he was encouraging and exciting, and I walked away feeling very hopeful. After week 2, Geno Smith was kind of mediocre and kind of average against the 49ers. So how is Geno Smith going to play in an opportunity against Atlanta? Talking about opportunities, Atlanta's 0-2. They lost week 1 by 1 point to New Orleans. They let New Orleans come back and win that game. Week 2, they lost by 4 points to the Rams. So week 3, on the road at Seattle against a team that's kind of struggling and down and out, this is a great opportunity for Atlanta to get their first win of the year. And then finally, Sunday Night Football, the 49ers at Denver. It's a big stage for Russell Wilson in Denver. Jimmy Garoppolo is starting for the 49ers. They've played Russell Wilson a lot during their time in San Francisco. That's a team, the 49ers know Russell Wilson very, very well, and the 49ers defensive line particularly really knows Russell Wilson very well. They could disrupt Denver's offense a lot. I'm actually really worried for Denver here because I think they might lose and start the year 1-2. And I think a 1-2 start for Denver is a massive problem in a really competitive, really good division, the AFC West. By the way, 49ers star tight end George Kittle missed the first 2 games of the year. He's going to be back and healthy enough to play against Denver. That's a problem. George Kittle is a huge factor in this football game, and I think the 49ers really have a great opportunity to beat Denver on the road during NFL Week 3. I'm really excited for NFL Week 3. It's going to be outstanding, and my game of the week, the one I'm most excited for, is Buffalo at Miami. I just cannot wait to see, can Tua hang with and maybe even challenge Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills?